how's it going? Thought I would do a little video, which will probably go too long, just to kind of, I guess, let all of you know who I am. For a lot of you, I've been thrusted upon you by my association with Chuck. I met Chuck through YouTube. I started looking at model train things down here before I moved down here to continue my education. I'm currently going to Pima Community College and will be going to U of A if they accept me for an electrical engineering degree. Give you a little bit of background on me. It's middle of May 2016 right now as this video is being made. As next month, as of June, I'll be 37 years old. I've worked in many different industries. I spent quite a bit of time in the automotive industry. I've worked defense on 3 different prototype vehicles with a company named BAE. I was a contractor doing that, so I wasn't a full-time employee, but I was still quite active within it. I worked as what was known as a field service rep, which later kind of turned into almost like an engineering assistant on one of the projects, where I was working hand in hand with the engineers in the project, fixing problems as they arose, and then also offering my 2 cents on how to fix it. I've been in model trains for a long time. I've actually worked at 2 model train stores in my life. One of them is no longer in business, one of them still is, and those were all in the Southern California area where I grew up. I took about a 20-year break from model trains. At about age 16, I caught a different bug. I started playing with cars. Of course, with cars came girls and all that fun stuff that happens when you're young. And I decided to come back to model trains about 2 years ago. And Chuck is really the first person that I've actually done model trains with. I had tried, I guess you could say, or halfway made an attempt to get back into the hobby, but either by choices of my own or geographical reasons, I was never able to do it. I've been involved with a few clubs, and I'm sorry if I'm sweating. It's probably 105 degrees inside the train room right now, but I have the air conditioner off, so you don't have to listen to that. I've been involved with a few clubs, a few of them in Southern California. One was a modular club, one was a permanent layout. And hard to tell, really. I mean, I was very young. For most of my time with those, I wasn't even driving. So your contributions to a club atmosphere, when first off, you don't make anything because you're underage, and then not being able to drive, you can't contribute to a lot of things either, because for all the acceptable reasons. But they're, like many people, they have complaints about clubs where politics and personalities went, and I experienced all of that even at a young age, which is probably why I'm here at Chuck's place more than being involved with the Model Railroad Club. Now, with that being said, if there is anyone in the greater Tucson area, I do know there is one gentleman in Yuma, but Yuma's just too far away. I would really like to do like an ON30 layout, like a modular group. And I'm talking something small, 5 or 6 modules, set it up, kind of a Fremo kind of design, something kind of quirky and get away from the rivet counters, so to speak. I am a quasi-prototypical modeler. I do like to add some details to my trains that you just don't get out of the box, such as the lighting effects and things like that that you've seen in some of my other videos. But I'm not a rivet counter by any stretch of the imagination. Run what you want to run. You bought it. You run it. I bought mine, and I'll run mine. Don't let anyone ever dictate to you that that particular road didn't have that, or the scale of your Athearn Blue Box SD45 is incorrect, because the shell is too wide. If that's all you can afford, that's all you can afford. Enjoy the hobby. Don't let some of these, I'll pick the right word here, individuals who have sometimes more money than tact tell you or suggest to you via politely or passive aggressively that what you have is not right. There is no right or wrong way to do this hobby. It's a hobby. It's not a business for most of us. For some of you it is, and for most of those who is a business, it's no longer a hobby. Don't ever try to get too serious about this. We come out here to leave the outside world on the outside of the train room and come in here and be kids again in many ways. Just our imaginations are not as strong as they were when we were kids, and that just comes from getting older. We lose a sense of the inner child the more and more we grow older. But rambling off on a tangent. So I've done a lot of different things in my life. I do probably intend to move back to Seattle once I'm done here in Tucson. So I've only got about 4 or 5 years to be with Chuck, Harold, and Steve here at the River Valley Railroad, and I plan on making the most of my time. But I'm not trying to take over things. I'm not trying to change things that are not Chuck's and Harold's ideas. There are many suggestions I have. Some of you may or may not know that a lot of the design of this railroad was in thought only and never truly on paper. So certain things were just kind of winged. There are things that I'm trying to change and implement that will fill in some of the things that were just winged. And anyone who's built a layout will tell you that if they had it to do over again, they would have done things differently. That's the nature of the beast. And hot rods do the same thing. What a different motor, transmission, paint, whatever. Each person grows as an individual as we experience more and more things through life. And what we used to like or used to enjoy may not be what we enjoy tomorrow. And that's why people tear up entire layouts and change them. Sell finished hot rods and start a new one. And I don't know, I guess I just felt like maybe I owed some of you people something, that you needed to know a little bit about me. I don't know, I've trying to think of what else to put in here. Anyway, well, if you have any questions or anything like that, just ask. Nothing I do on the layout or to my own projects is private. I'm not making any money off of the little things I do at the railroad. There is, I do sometimes do work for other people, for money, but that is purely a labor thing, not so much I'm inventing or doing something for them. The little things like the helix detection system and all that. This came up as Chuck and Harold wanted something. Everything I found was buku expensive. So I decided to engineer something that was inexpensive, and I think I spent about $100 on the helix system, all in all. It took me about 3 days to do it, but it works well. It works okay. I'm going to do another video right after this one that's kind of going to go over some of the little things about a layout that everyone should do. So I'm going to go ahead and say adieu to all of you. Again, if you have any questions, just ask. I'm a very proud individual. So have a good one, and again, have a good day.